Well, hello, everybody. I guess first things first, I have a stupid headset on, so let me know if you can hear me. I will wait for confirmation on whether or not anyone can hear me. Okay. If you can't, that's just tough. So, does this picture on the screen look familiar? If it does, this video is for you. And I've made bug out bag videos before, but I'm talking like 8 or 9 years ago. So thank you, Laura. A lot of things have changed since my original bug out bag videos. Some things have changed for me, and I think some things have probably changed in general for a lot of people. So I don't know how many of you were ever in the military and had to do hikes with rucksacks, but even like a 20-pound bug out bag, if you have to trek, let's just say 5 miles under stressful conditions, you're probably not going to make it. Okay. So part of this is a revamping of the bug out bag. And another thing is a way to take some of the things that might be in your bug out bag and actually make them things that you wear, so that we're going to go bug out bag light here. So let me get rid of this. I don't know. This picture makes me giggle. So, but we're going to say bye-bye to that picture. And let's see if we can figure out a good layout here. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. We're gonna figure it out as we go. Okay, so let's see so like for me, the things that have changed is I don't plan on bugging out anymore. I used to when I lived where there were people. For sure, I was going to bug out. So, I mean, I would still recommend bugging out. Is kind of a weird thing because it's a lot of it's timing. If you mistime it, if you're early, that's better, but you could also be wrong, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And if you're late, you're kind of screwed. So like bugging out is very time specific. You almost got to nail it, like when to pull the trigger on that. I'm fortunate in that I don't have to bug out now because I don't live by people, because they're people. And so my strategy is more defend the castle. And even that, I don't know, depends on how crazy things got. You really have to hunt to find yourself here where I'm at. But it could happen. So I have, plans for that, but bugging out is not one of them. If I had to bug out from here, things have pretty much got to the point where you might as well just forget it. So I have bug out bags. I probably have 5 or 6 of them. Every one of them, I would imagine, they're hanging up like in an outbuilding. So I haven't looked at them in a while. My guess is they're all heavy enough to where they'd be annoying if I had to go 3, 4, 5 miles. And so we're going to do some modifications on the bug out bag. So for one thing, a lot of things, people in their bug out bag, they're like, well, you got to have a flashlight, right? Like I said, this first portion is about keeping your bug out bag light, but also keeping yourself hands-free as much as possible. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. People's like, well, I got to have light, but this is what I would recommend is a headlamp. And this one here, I have 3 headlamps. This specific one I own, and I have 2 others, but they're a different make and model. They look the same, but they have different features. This one I really like, and I highly recommend it. I got it on Amazon. I think it says Blue Car, Blukar is the manufacturer, and they don't show it. It's a silly. When I got it, I was surprised because in none of the images do they show what I think is the coolest feature. So you've got this push button right on the top backside of the large light. And so you push it, you get this, like, I think the main light comes on, push it again, and I don't know what happens. Maybe just the two side lights, I'm not sure. Push it a third time, and all three of them light up. Push it a fourth time, and they start strobing, which is only one application I could think of where you would want this thing strobing, maybe two. But if you push it a fifth time, the light turns red. It's just a red light. That's the one I like. That's the one that if you were traveling at night through the wilderness trying to get somewhere, I would highly recommend you go red light. In the Navy, they have a darkened ship protocol. At night, they go lights out except for red lights, and they shut all hatches. And my understanding is the red light can't be seen from nearly as far. A white light on the horizon on the ocean, you can see it for like 25 miles. Red lights, see what they do on the ships is they shut all the hatches. And then if you do have to go out, open a hatch to go out, outside on the ship, the internal lights have all switched to red. And so it wouldn't give you away. That's the theory. And it probably works, but the red light on this one, and I made a video, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 videos back where I went out to my shipping container at night and I was like saying hi to my dogs along the way. And that is the red light function on this particular headlamp. And like I said, they don't advertise it. So I didn't know. I was like going through the settings one night when I went out, and it was like red, and I was like, no way, how cool. Because like on my bump helmets and stuff, I think those are green. But I do have a few items that do the red light, and I really like the red light. So this is to keep hands free for lighting. You don't have to worry about, having a flashlight in one hand. I would definitely go with a headlamp for your lighting. And of course, you could have a backup light in your bug out bag, but here's what you have to understand: that a bug out bag is just to get you to point B. It's to get you to a place of what you would consider safety, or at least safer than where you're at. So you're just trying to get to a location. Whatever you have pre-planned, you might want to have a B, and C as far as, where you would go if you had to, and also alternate routes and stuff. But a bug out bag isn't something that like you're going to, wander the country for years. You're just trying to get to somewhere that's safer. And hopefully there's some sort of supplies or something there. So you don't need a ton of stuff. Like a lot of people, you could throw a backup handheld flashlight in your bug out bag, but as you'll see when I describe the bug out bag that I recommend, it's really pared down and really lightweight. So for lighting, I would go with this option, because again, hands free, and I really like the red light function on this one. So let's go to the next item. This is going to be kind of slow because I want to remove each of these images from the studio, because I think it only lets you have so many, and then it starts getting weird. All right, next item. Again, this is not in the bug out bag. This is on your person, to keep your bug out bag. And also, if you have to ditch your bug out bag, all these items I'm showing you here up front, you're still going to have these on you. So if, there's a million reasons you could either have to ditch your bug out bag, or somebody grabs it and you slip out of it and whatever. These items here that I'm going to show you that you're going to be wearing on your person, in some ways, maybe more important than what you have in your bag, at least for the short term. Okay, so a shoulder holster. I highly recommend a shoulder holster. Instead of lugging a whole bunch of ammo in your bug out bag. So I have a shoulder holster similar to this one. It's just a different color, but it's pretty much the same thing. For one thing, you don't have a holster on your hip or which is going to, people are going to notice that if you're carrying a sidearm. And, some people may want that sidearm. So that's going to cause a whole other realm of issues. But the other thing is, if you carry your ammo and your firearm in your bug out bag, again, you may have to ditch it, or something may happen to that bug out bag. This way, you've got this on you. You've got let's say a 15 round magazine in that handgun. And then on the other side, you see there's 2 magazine pouches. So you'd have 45 rounds total. Hopefully, if you're good with your firearm and don't waste ammo, 45 rounds should get you to your destination. And this is a side note. I always recommend using the common and most popular calibers. So in my opinion, this would be a 9mm. And worst case scenario, you're probably going to stumble across some 9mm, or there's a way you're going to be able to get your hands on some 9mm should you start running low. If you're carrying, if you're 10mm, 357, and you run out of ammo, you're probably SOL. So I do recommend you go with the common, like a 9mm caliber. That way you're always able, hopefully you should be able to replenish along the way. And that brings up a whole other topic. I might do a video just on that, on mindset, the mindset you're going to have to get yourself into if things go sideways. And if you are running low on ammo, you may have to do some things that let's just leave it at that. It might have to get savage, but you have to get yourself in that mindset that anything goes in this sort of situation, and you got to do what you got to do. But okay, so this here, like, you blend in, nobody would know you had a gun. It's not on your hip. And if it's in your bag and you need it immediately, you got to take the backpack off. You got to open it. You got to rifle through it, find what you're looking for. No, this is, in my opinion, this is the go-to, is a shoulder holster. So let's go on to the next item that I recommend you have on your person. And that is, it's a surprise for me too. What is it? Oh, that would be the neck knife. These are awesome. I have a lot of these, and they all kinds of different styles, shapes, lengths, widths. These you just hang around your neck underneath your shirt. Again, nobody's going to see it dangling off your belt. Nobody's, you're not going to have to rifle through your bug out bag if you need a knife. These are cool because all you do is reach up under your shirt and you pull straight down and you got a knife in your hand. And if you're searched, in most cases, they're not going to catch this. They're going to check your waist. They're going to check your pockets. They're going to check your pant legs and around your ankles. There's a pretty good chance, unless they're very thorough, they're going to miss this. And again, don't have to go through your bag. It's not on your hip where it's obvious. And should you, for whatever reason, lose or have to ditch your bag, you've still got your knife. These are fantastic. I'm wearing one right now. Every day, it's part of. I put one on under my shirt, and I go throughout my day wearing a neck knife because they take a little getting used to, but super, super good item to have. And like I said, very concealable. And in a search, odds are they're going to miss it. Okay, so let's see what else we got. So exciting. See what's next. After the neck knife, we have footwear. What to wear? I always wear jungle boots every day, no matter what I'm doing. Summer, winter, doesn't matter. I wear these. If I'm outside, if I'm not barefoot, I'm wearing these. And if you have to spend a little extra, get whatever you have to do, get waterproof. Make sure they're waterproof. I would recommend black, although mine are all coyote. They're like tan. But I think I might have one pair of black. But I definitely would go with the black, and that'll be described a little bit later when it comes to more of the clothing that you should be wearing should you have to bug out. And this is stuff like, obviously, if you live in populated areas, or you work in a city, or in the suburbs where there's a lot of people and you go to work every day, there's a good chance that whatever happens could happen while you're at work. And the reason you might have to bug out is just you might have to just get from work to home, but your vehicle might not be an option because there could be traffic jams and all kinds of stuff where you're going to have to hoof it. Well, a lot of people don't probably wear tactical jungle boots at work every day, nor some of the other stuff I'm going to mention. So I always recommend you have a bag in your car for changing into, basically, like a bag to change into to bug out. So I would have like, what do you call them? Like, tactical, like BDUs, like khaki pants with the cargo pockets. These waterproof jungle boots. I would say black, gray, or brown t-shirt, no emblem. And I'll show you more of what I'm talking about, what you should be wearing. And then throw your bug out bag that I'm going to show you what I would recommend is in your bug out bag. And in this bag where all the changing stuff, you can have your headlamp, you can have your neck knife, you can have your shoulder holster and your firearm and your extra magazines already in your shoulder holster. Just have it like, put it like where your spare tire, if they have a tire well, like in the back of your vehicle, or if you have a pickup and you have a extended cab, just have a duffel bag with this clothing and these items in it, and you just change, and suddenly you're Joe Tactical, and you're ready to bug out from wherever you're at to get home. So let's see what else we have. Sorry, I have to remove each image individually. What's next? Okay. These, I have actually this exact set. It came in a 2 set, and I have these myself. I would recommend in your, bug out clothing to change into the black one, not the orange one. The orange one's like for every day, like if you're going to go hiking or something. But the black one, I would wear the black one. Now, these are handy because they have a compass, and the compass, I guess they kind of work. Never really tested it. I've looked at it a little bit. They seem relatively sort of accurate, but I wouldn't worry about it. And they have a whistle here on the left side. You see that straight across from the compass. You see that whistle. That's, I'm sure there's a practically, if you're lost in the woods, you're going to want to blow that. Yeah. But like in a bug out, you're not going to probably mess with the whistle. But it separates here where you take it on and off. When you open it, this silver thing in the middle here is a dual purpose. It's a fire starter, and it's also, the other end can be used as like a screwdriver, like a flathead. So for fire starting, you can get ferro rods that are on a necklace, but if you're going to carry the neck knife, I don't know if you want to have 2 things dangling around your neck. It might get weird and confusing, but this is an option for a fire starter, is to have these, I don't even know what they call these, wrists something, I'm sure. And the other thing that these are good for is in a pinch, although if you do your bug out bag like I tell you to, shouldn't happen. You can unravel these and you've got paracord. But you've got a flathead screwdriver here. So like if you had to take a grate off of something, a lot of times grates or vents, air ducts and stuff like that, to get into the ventilation system in like a building, or to open some sort of grate. A lot of times it's going to be flathead. So you have that fire starter, compass, and paracord all in one. And again, you just put this on your wrist and off you go. You don't have to worry about it. It doesn't take up any room. You don't even know it's there. What's next, they wondered. Next item would be, suspense is killing me. Oh, yeah, have some sort of multi-tool, like a Leatherman, like here. These are fantastic. Just make sure you get one with like the leather little holster for it that goes on your belt. I would, obviously, you can wear these every day. Nobody's going to think twice. Or you can just have one in your bug out change bag in your vehicle. And I didn't put it in here, but I would have some sort of a web belt with this outfit. The web belt will help with the, sliding the leather holster for this multi-tool on it. And also it'll keep your pants up. You're going to want your pants to stay up. And so a multi-tool, obviously, it's kind of self-explanatory why you would want this. It can also be a weapon, clearly. But what's next? The next thing, and this is all stuff that you would have either on your person at all times or in a bag, just again to change into. Let's go with. Well, we can do this first. Okay, so like this is how I would probably. This with the black cargo pants, the black tactical boots, and the item I'm going to show next. The thing I would add with this, so you definitely, I would say, want a hoodie. You want to be able to cover your head and face to a degree. I would throw in a black baseball hat under here, and even have a pair of sunglasses in your bag to, just put them in a pocket in case it's, summertime or whatever. Just to hide as much of your face as possible, and dress like this, throw a backpack on, and just and walk with a purpose. Don't act all weird. Just like you know where you're going and just go. But keep your head on a swivel because people are going to get weird. But the thing about like what I would do in a case like this with a hoodie, I would probably get, first of all one color. I would say black, an olive drab green, maybe a brown, maybe a gray, an earth tone, but no markings, no logos, no North Face, none of that crap, no stripes on the sleeve, just like solid one color, no weird shit that people can look at it and go, oh yeah, he's wearing a black hoodie with a big weird emblem on his left breast pocket area. Just, you want to blend in. So one color and no logos, no crap on it. The other thing is I would recommend buying, I would say at least one size, if not two sizes larger than you wear. And that is so that the hood is bigger and covers more of your head and your face. And stuff like your shoulder holster, whatever you have underneath here, is going to be, you don't want something that's like form-fitting. You want loose. So I would go 1 to 2 sizes larger than you normally wear so that the hood size is larger and hangs over more of your face. And also I would go zipper. I wouldn't go pullover. You want the zipper because you're going to want fast access to a shoulder holster. So I would say too large of a hoodie, one color, no logos, zipper. And that will go into this next item that I would throw in with it, because we're going gray man here. I don't want anybody to be able to, it's like, oh, he's wearing all black. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't help much. But if they say, oh yeah, it has a big Harley Davidson emblem on the whole back of his hoodie, well, that's not good. So what's the next? Oh, you're going to want, gloves like this, tactical gloves with the hard knuckles, in case you got to get into some scrapping. You don't want to, anything you can do to keep your hands from being injured, either by a knife or by somebody's teeth or whatever. And I would go with this style of glove, black, of course, or whatever, make your outfit, don't stand out. You just want to keep it, and, have these gloves on, hands in your hoodie pockets, and you're just walking like with a purpose. But get the ones where the index finger works on a touchscreen. And you can find those that'll tell you that you can use a touchscreen with your index finger. I would definitely, you don't want to be taking the gloves off and on every time you got to use your phone or anything. You just, I personally, most of mine are the fingerless like this because I like the dexterity of the fingers, but that will, and that's what I have. That's what I would probably be wearing. It does stand out a little bit more because you don't see all that many people with fingerless tactical gloves on all the time. But if they're like this and they're just all black and you can't tell, that it doesn't stand out as much. But I like the fingerless ones, especially when you're manipulating items or even with firearms. There's just things that are way easier if you've got the half finger gloves like this. Still got the knuckles and all that, but I mean, if you think you can, you keep your hands in your pockets as you walk and stuff, and I would go with the fingerless style of this same glove. What else we got? I think we're moving on from the clothing. I think we got you get the gist of it, to have this very nondescript type of clothing that's easy to access things that you have under that clothing. And also, what was the other thing? Helps to hide your face. Like I said, a black ball cap, no emblems, just a black hat underneath that black hoodie, maybe some black sunglasses, nothing. Like I said, don't have any, neon colored stripes, or you don't want part of it to like be bright orange. You just don't want anything that stands out. What do we got next? Where have I been? I've been right here, bro. What's next? Okay, now we're moving into what I would have in the bug out bag. And what you're going to notice is, like, with the exception of one thing that's not heavy, but a little, it's got just a tiny bit of weight. All the stuff that I'm saying to put in your bug out bag is very light. Like, this bug out bag is going to weigh maybe 5 pounds total. And again, remember, this isn't for like living in the woods for the rest of your life. This is just to get you somewhere safer than where you're at, get you from work back to home where all your other stuff's at or whatever. So this is kind of optional, but if you want some sort of protein, I would get, this image here, these are homemade protein bars. Probably recommend the homemade just because you know what's in it. You can put in stuff in there that's going to give you a boost of energy, but I would avoid a lot of protein bars are coated on the outside in chocolate, and that will give you, a little energy boost with the sugars and the chocolate and stuff. But depending on the weather, that chocolate could be a real mess. You got these things in like a airtight Mylar or Ziploc bag or something, and it's 85, 90 degrees out. When you open it, it's not going to be pretty. So something like this, that's not going to melt, not going to get messy. They're not going to leave a bunch of garbage on your fingers when you're done with it. So some sort of protein bar that is easy to eat and not make a mess. I mean, you can do what you want, but like I would just, and if your goal is to get from work to home or whatever, I don't know, you might be 5 miles from home, you might be 30 miles from home, I don't know. In some cases you might think, I don't need any protein bars, I'm just going to get from here to home. You don't know what kind of obstacles you're going to run into. There may be a point where you're like, it's not going as smoothly as you had hoped, and you might be quite delayed. Protein bars would not be a bad thing to have. And again, this weighs just ounces. It's not going to, worst case scenario, you can just toss it to a squirrel. What's next on here? Next up, we have water. I wouldn't go crazy with the water because you should be able to access more along the way. This is an aluminum steel bottle. I went with black because, a lot of them are silver, and that's just, it'll catch light and shine and reflect. I would go with an aluminum water bottle in black if possible. If not, I'd spray paint it. But just one bottle. Like you don't need to go crazy. Like some people are like, oh, you need like 4 bottles of water in your bug out bag. No, you can figure out ways to get water along the way. But you do need, and this is the heaviest item you're going to have in this bug out bag. All right. So water. But like I said, you just need the one. And there's ways to get more along the way and things to do to make sure that it's safe. And next we have, I was talking about I would have just this paracord. You never know. Cordage is always good to have, especially like the 550 paracord. You've already got your leather bin and your neck knife, so you can cut it to length, do what you need to do with it. Maybe learn a few basic, really helpful knots. Maybe learn like a slip knot and, 2 or 3 different types of knots, and have, what's this? This is 100 feet of 550 paracord, and this takes up no room in your bug out bag, and it weighs literally nothing. But having cordage, like I said, there's a lot of reasons why you may be wanting some paracord on your little journey. What's next? Right next to the paracord, and these wouldn't necessarily be in your bug out bag, is I'm a big proponent of handcuff keys. I've got these things stashed everywhere. I would put at least one in your wallet, because a lot of times you're going to get handcuffed behind you, and easy access to your wallet. Know where you've got the key stuffed in your wallet somewhere in some compartment. Get out of the handcuffs. I always keep a handcuff key in my wallet, but I have them in other places too. If they use zip ties, this is assuming that you screwed the pooch and you got caught by somebody. It could even be law enforcement. It could even be the police. They could be rounding people up. I mean, who knows what could go on. The cops are always going to handcuff you behind your back. And they may open your wallet, take your driver's license out to find out who you are and stuff. But if you've got little, compartments in your wallet, like many wallets do, some of them are like little zipper pockets or whatever, highly unlikely they're going to go through every little thing in your wallet. If you're captured by ne'er-do-wells, they're probably not going to go through your wallet. Early on, some people may, because they're like, I'm going to see if he has any money, not knowing that money's probably no longer, even a little longer into it, when people realize money's now useless, nobody's going to go through your wallet to see if you have $20, because they're going to be like, what am I going to do with that? So definitely, I have, I think, one stashed in my vehicle, one in my wallet. Some of the ones I don't even remember where they're at, but yeah. That's something nobody ever mentions, is a handcuff key. These things are super cheap. They don't weigh anything. Easy to hide. Everybody should have handcuff keys on them. And you may come across somebody who's handcuffed that's an asset or an ally, and you're like, oh, let me get you out of those handcuffs. Boom, it's like that simple, because you're cool and you have a handcuff key in your wallet. Let's see here. Okay, this should be in your bug out bag. Basic first aid kit, nothing, super. You don't need like a gunshot. That's hopefully you can avoid getting shot while you're trying to get to where you're going. But one thing I would add to this kit that is not, I can almost guarantee you, no first aid kit you get is going to have in it, is I would throw super glue in it. Buy like a 2 or 3 pack of super glue. Do not open it. Leave it sealed. Once you open a tube of super glue, it goes rock hard and useless pretty quickly. So I would just toss 2 or 3 super glue tubes in this kit, and this kit weighs nothing. Throw it in your bug out bag. And I do have some other items that, you could throw. It depends. If a lot of first aid kits are really, like, there's no room to add much. So if there is, there's a few other items here, including, no, they're not coming up yet. But this one. So like I said, you have the one aluminum metal water bottle, which, depends on how long it takes you to get to where you're going. You may go through that water and you're going to need more. Worst case scenario, drink out of a stream or something. Life straw. These things are feather light. Throw this in your bug out bag, and you can use it to There's different types. Like some of them are more like this is like literally a straw. You put it in your mouth and you literally suck the water right up and drink it. There's other ones where you can like filter it through and then put it into your container. This life straw, I'm not sure if it comes with an adapter or if you can. There may be a way to not have to actually drink the water out of this and put it into another container. I'm not sure, but there's other ways around that, which I'll show you here very shortly. So definitely have a life straw in your bag. Like I said, it doesn't weigh anything, takes up no room, and it will keep you hydrated if your water bottle goes empty. Next is, I'll just jump ahead. So just to have some water purification tablets in your bag. That way you can just have your life. You don't have to have two different types of filtering devices. You can have your life straw to drink directly from it, or if you want to, put your aluminum bottle into a creek or something, or even like somebody's garden hose, just fill it up real quick, drop a couple of these tablets in it, put the cap back on, and go. And that way you'll have two ways to make water drinkable: the life straw and these purification tablets. These things cost like nothing. And this bottle is very small. Those tablets are very small. You throw this in your bug out bag, you wouldn't even know it's there. Or you can throw it in your medical kit if room allows. If not, just toss it in your bug out bag. And let's see what's next. I jumped ahead because I kind of went with the life straw. So we'll go back to the Baofeng. It doesn't have to be a Baofeng. They have really good range, and they also doubled as ham radios. If you go through the trouble of using chirp and setting it up for the repeaters in your area for the ham radio. But if you just want the FRS, these come with 4 channels that are, public channels. And they're compatible. Like if you just buy the cheap, go to Walmart and just get some family walkie-talkies, these will still talk to those. Obviously, keep this thing off at all times until needed to conserve the battery and to make sure that there might be a lot of people on FRS channels during a shit hits the storm thing. So you don't want this thing squeaking and squawking and talking, all these people saying crap, in your backpack while you're trying to get where you're going. So leave that off. Also, the Baofengs do come with an earpiece. They're horrible. They're not good. But you could put that earpiece in and have the cord coming up out of your shirt, have the Baofeng in your backpack or whatever, and you can hear if somebody's talking and nobody else would hear it. So that's an option. I would probably just leave it off until I needed it, and then I would find somewhere where I was isolated and get on the radio and either listen or call to somebody if you have a pre-set up with someone or someone's, and say, hey, we'll use channel 2, we'll use channel 3 or whatever. And whatever, like I said, it's public radio. Everybody's going to be able to hear you, but it's better than nothing. And you will be able to, like, if your kids have these in their school backpacks and things go sideways and they take this out, turn it on, you'll at least be able to find out if they're safe or whatever. And again, this thing weighs nothing. These Baofengs are actually smaller than you think they are. If you've never had one, there's like a lot to them in a very small package. The other thing, let's see, what else would we put in our bug out bag? This is like a 2-parter. One is, and again, this is all super light stuff. None of this stuff weighs hardly anything. The foldable solar panel charger. These are pretty cool. I mean, if you're going to be in the city trying to get from point A to point B, you may not ever use one of these. But the next item, which is super handy because it'll power things like your headlamp and stuff like that, and that is this. And the cool thing about it is, as long as you have the correct USB cable, and just get like the 6-inch short ones, you don't need to get a 6 or a 10-foot cable. But having a power bank to plug like your headlamp into to recharge it. And if you have that fold out solar panel thing, you can use that to charge this. So if I had to choose between the two, I would have the power bank and just hope it lasted long enough till you got to where you were going, or you found another way to charge this back up on the way. But and you may even want to throw one of those USB to 120 volt, those little, I don't know what you call them. They come with like every iPhone and stuff. You just plug it into the wall and it's got like one USB outlet on it in case you have to, get into some building or something and access a wall outlet and there's still power. That's assuming there's power. You can charge this back up, or you could use that solar charger. But just make sure you have like a USB-A and a USB-C cable in your bug out bag so that you are able, if you can access power or one of these power banks like this, that you can actually use them. This wouldn't work very well if you didn't have a cable to plug into it. But like this one here, it's got two USB-As and one USB-C. Just make sure you have the cables to go with it. What's next? I keep forgetting to click this one button. It's kind of vital. Okay, we're almost done. Only got like 2 more items. This is something that you could have is some high strength pain reliever. I know that when I get like a migraine or a really bad headache, it's very difficult to think straight. Kind of makes you just want to find a dark corner and lay down. You're not going to have time for that. So pain relief, something good, 200 capsules. What I would recommend with this is if you had a bottle of pain relief like this in your bug out bag, stuff extra cotton balls in it before you throw it in there. That way there's no rattling. Overstuff it with cotton balls. That way, if you have to use any of it or hand some out to somebody that needs it, it's at no point are you going to start hearing the pills rattle in the bottle inside your bug out bag. So like basically, like I said, overstuff it with cotton, jam it in there real good. That way you won't hear the jiggling of the pills inside the bottle inside your bug out bag. But what else? I think I have like one more. And this is something I would have. This isn't just for bug out bag. This is something everybody should have. And the thing is, they are starting to clamp down on it. It's getting harder to find it. And even the companies I buy this from, I'm getting emails from them saying like the FDA and stuff, they're trying to shut this down. And that is like fish mox, amoxicillin. I've got about 6 bottles of this, and I get the 500 milligram, 100 capsules, just kind of like exactly like this picture. And again, I would overstuff it with cotton so it didn't make any sound at all when you walked or ran. But do yourself a favor. If nothing else in this video, you decide like, I need to like maybe load up on a little bit of that. Get this. I cannot tell you with, I think I've only had to use it maybe once, but for my animals, I've literally saved the lives of several of my dogs by having this on hand and just giving them like a pill a day for 3 or 4 days, and they're fine. Whatever was wrong with them goes away. Definitely load up on the amoxicillin, because like I'm telling you, they are making this. You're not going to be able to get this pretty soon. I remember you used to be able to get it from Walmart.com and several other places. I think Chewy. There was like a lot of places you could just go online and order this. And those places now, you have to have a veterinarian's prescription online before they'll let you order this. There's still a handful of places you can get this. And I wish I could remember the one. Let me see. I don't know if I want to even say it. I do. I'm not going to say it because then suddenly it'll be like, but they are sending me emails saying, the FDA, I think it's the FDA or somebody they're trying to make it where you cannot get this stuff anymore, like online without a veterinarian prescription. And so this stuff will be like gold if things go sideways. And the price, it's been holding pretty steady. like 500 milligram, 100 capsules, you're probably looking at $56 to $58 for this bottle. I do know some feed stores, you can still find this on the shelf. There's a feed store about 80 some miles from me that still sell this right on the shelf. And it's like 40 something. It's about $10 less, but you're looking at anywhere from 46 to 58 probably for a bottle. But when you need and it's not just amoxicillin, you can get penicillin, tetracycline, or whatever that stuff's called. It comes in different stuff, but this amoxicillin, this stuff, I'm telling you right now, I've used it on my animals. I've used it on myself. It works. This is something I would definitely have one in the bug out bag, and I would have one at home. At least, like I said, I've got about 6 bottles of this stuff, and I've had to give it to neighbors. I had a neighbor who had I think he had a messed up tooth problem, and he called and basically begged me, and I was like, I'll be right there. And I took like 8 pills in a Ziploc bag and rode over to his house. And he said it basically saved him until he was able to get to a dentist or whatever, that it took the infection right out and made it so he could function. This stuff is no joke. Highly recommend it. And I think, let me double check. I think that's about all I have in here for. And that, if you think about it, so in your bug out bag, I had protein bars, 1 bottle in an aluminum bottle of water, some paracord, the handcuff keys. Like I said, not necessarily the bug out bag. I'd have those on your person and maybe in your vehicle. A first aid kit, a life straw, a radio, and either a solar charger and or a power brick, some water purification tablets, some painkiller, and some amoxicillin. Like literally that would weigh 3 pounds in your backpack. Everything else I would wear on my person, because any of this stuff here, besides maybe the life straw in a short term, if you're not going to be living out of this bug out bag for a long time, the water and the life straw, and maybe the first aid kit, you'll be okay, but like the light, the shoulder holster with your firearm in it, your neck knife, your waterproof boots, the right clothing, a multi-tool, and the bracelet, which is I would just say it's mostly a fire starter. The fire starter is, that stuff would always be on you. Even if you had to toss your bag and run, you're still going to have all those items on your person. So anyway, I hope that helps. Let me go through here. The silver's still a psyop. I don't know. I mean, I have silver. Here's my issue with this, the silver and gold. I don't think it's going to be useful during, like, if everything went sideways, because, like, let's say you have a 1 ounce bar of silver or gold or whatever. That's how they come. All right. So you can't like make change or cut them in half. Like, no matter what you need, like, let's say you just want like a few cans of food and some toilet paper. That's going to cost you 1 of your silver bars, because, like I said, you can't make change with it. And some people might not see the value in, like, oh, I've got all this stuff here that, like, I use on a daily basis to live. I don't necessarily want to trade any of it to you for a bar of silver that's going to sit like it's not going to help me. Some people go, oh, it's for when society, kind of comes back. You use it to, I don't know, I guess like supply yourself with money. I don't know I don't understand, because if let's say I have like a bottle of that amoxicillin and some MREs and maybe some water, and somebody's like, I will give you this bar of silver for that stuff. And in my mind, I'm like, and then I'll do what with it? It's just a bar of silver. This stuff you're asking for is stuff that will keep me alive and I can use today and tomorrow and the next day. So I think the precious metals thing, I don't see the point in it. Like I said, I have silver bars, but like, what the hell am I supposed to do with them? I mean, at best case scenario, you wait until they're like really, uh, their value goes way up, and then you trade it in for cash, and then the dollar collapses and you're screwed. So I don't, like I said, you can't make change with a silver bar. So like whatever I have that you may want, you're going to have to give me at least one full silver bar. And that's assuming I even want that silver bar, because the things that you want to buy with that silver bar, I may see as way more valuable than that bar. So I know people like think that that's like I think it's kind of a grift. I think a lot of the people that push it are probably profiting some way um, on you buying silver. Like they've got a stake in it somewhere. I don't think they're really, thinking your best interest. Like, well, you need silver so that your family can get beans and water from some guy. I don't think that. I would be very shocked if that's their main concern is you and your family. I think they're trying to make some money off you buying silver right now. And you have to put yourself in the mindset of like, okay, this is actually going down. I spent, years accumulating all this stuff that's going to keep me and mine alive. Am I going to give some of it to a stranger because he offers me a silver bar? I'm going to probably tell him, take a silver bar. Now, bartering is a whole different story. Bartering is, and the key to bartering is to stock up on items that a lot of people don't think about. Like, let's say, like, you can't go to the store and get anything anymore. It's done. It's all pretty much bartering or make your own or figure it out. I mentioned this a long time ago. Stock up on tampons. They don't weigh anything. They cost almost nothing. You can store them in a closet. You can store them in a shed. You can store them about anywhere. You can store them in a tote, in a plastic bag. If you had 20 boxes of tampons, and let's say they come in 10 packs, so you've got 200 tampons. You don't think that that's going to be a barter thing when some lady tells her husband, get out there and find me some tampons. I don't care what you got to do. Things like that. Toothpaste. What if you had 50 tubes of toothpaste? People are going to want things like that. Everybody's thinking about food, water, medicine. Yeah, but there's other things. Dental floss, soap. Soap would be huge. You could get a tote and just stuff it full of soap. Liquid hand soap, bar soap, whatever, any soap. People are going to get dirty, stinky, and nasty, and they would give, who knows what they'd give you for a bar of soap to actually clean themselves after 3 weeks. I mean, so yeah, bartering, huge. But like I said, think of the things that not everybody else is going to have to barter with. Everybody else is going to have, canned food, dried food, water, some medicines. But you're going to be able to offer them stuff that those guys can't because you're super smart and you bought like a ton of tampons. I don't even know. Yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do another. I'm thinking about doing one on caching because I did cache videos in like 2019. So it was like 6 years ago. The bug out bag ones were even further. They're like 7 or 8 years ago. So I wanted to kind of get an update on the because a lot of people they really tell you to stuff a lot of crap in your bug out bag. That A, it's going to be heavy, and B, it's like you just don't need it. You're not going camping for 3 weeks. You're just trying to get to a place of safety. It may only take you 4 or 5 hours to get where you're going. Even if it's rough out there, you may be able to get there in 5 or 6 hours, maybe. So you don't need to bring the whole house. And you're certainly not going to want to lug 20, 30, 40 pounds around if you have to go 5, 10, 15, 20 miles on foot. So, yeah, my bug out bag that I recommend, probably 3 pounds. You'll be able to do all kinds of, you could do like a Richard Simmons workout with this thing on and you'd be fine. But, so I think the next one I might do is caching because, if you have been around for a while, like I said, it's been 6 years, but Jackhammer Mike and I did, cache video, we buried a whole bunch of shit out in the Arizona desert. I watched the video the other day and I'm like, I know there's water. I know there's ammunition. There's 15 gallons of water. I don't know how much ammunition. I don't remember what kind again, it's going to be probably 5.56, 9mm, maybe shotgun shells. It's going to be the standard stuff you would, like the stuff I recommend, the types of firearms I recommend. And then food, medical supplies, there's probably toilet paper and all that. I don't know, because we had it inside totes already pre-packed and wrapped it up and buried it. And like, I don't know what's in there. And I don't live in Arizona anymore. I'm about 90% sure, maybe somewhere in there, I could find that spot where we buried all that stuff again. But the odds of me ever going there again are probably zero. So there is a really nice cache of stuff in Arizona that will probably never be found. But so I'm going to do a new cache video on, like, it might not have been the best thing for me to stick all that really valuable stuff really in somewhere that I wasn't certain I would be. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to, I don't know why I agreed to like bury all that stuff in a place that I knew I wouldn't come back to. I guess we were looking at short term, like, well, if something happens in the next, 3 to 6 months, I know where this stuff's at. But yeah, so I'm going to do a new cache video that's maybe, I'm trying to update some of the stuff I did with new information. And I would not necessarily cache the way I did last time if I did it again. Okay, everybody, take care. God bless. Peace.